To install Windows 11 in EVE-NG, you need to download the Windows 11 image from the Microsoft website. Just choose your edition and your language and click on the 64-bit download. In order to install Windows 11 in EVE-NG, you need to create a folder for Windows on EVE-NG. To do that, SSH into EVE-NG, go into the QEMU folder. Make a new directory for Windows 11 in this folder. The folder name must start with win-. I call mine win-11-pro. Now we need to copy the Windows 11 ISO into this folder. I'll copy the path, open up a second terminal in the downloads folder where the Windows 11 ISO file is. Use SCP to copy the ISO image onto the EVE-NG machine. You can use a graphical SCP client also. Just copy the Windows 11 ISO into the directory that you just created. Afterwards, open the SSH connection again and go inside the Windows 11 folder. Use the list command to check if the ISO file is there. In my case, the Windows 11 ISO is here. Now use the move command to rename the ISO file to cd-rom.iso. Now I'll create a hard disk image on which Windows 11 will be installed onto. Use the QEMU image tool on the EVE-NG machine to create the file. The file must be called vidioa.qcar2. This way it will be recognized by EVE-NG. Once that's done, issue the fix permissions command. Click on the plus button on the top left side, click on Node and search for Windows. If the files are being recognized correctly, Windows will be available. Set CPU and RAM settings. The QEMU version must be set to 5.2.0 for best performance. I'll change the icon, save the settings. The Windows 11 machine will appear at the top left side. You can drag it to where you want it to be. Right-click on the Windows 11 node and click on Start. The node icon becomes colorful when it's being powered. Click on the node and click on Open Link. This will open up the viewer of the Windows 11 machine. Choose your language and keyboard layout. Click on Next and on Install Now. Click on I don't have a license key. Choose your Windows version and do not click on Next. Instead, press Shift and F10 at the same time. This will open up a new terminal window. Now we need to change the registry keys in order to skip the pre-installation checks that Windows 11 runs. The first command sets the value of the registry key. Once you press enter on the first command, use the arrow key in the upwards direction to bring up the command again. This time, the registry value is at HKey local machine. And the name is bypass TPM check. The next one is bypass secure boot check, and then bypass RAM check, bypass storage check, bypass CPU check, and bypass disk check. I mistyped the last one, but the disk is big enough anyway. Close the terminal window and make sure you have chosen the right Windows 11 edition. Click on Next. Tick the box besides the I accept the Microsoft software license terms text. Choose Customize. There is a load driver button at the bottom left side of the window. A new window will appear. Click on the Browse button. Open up the second floppy disk drive. Click on the last folder. Click on 2003 R2 and choose AMD64. Click on OK and click on Next. It will recognize the hard drive that you have created. Click on Next. Once it is done installing Windows, it will reboot. On the next reboot, it will ask you in what region you're in. Choose your keyboard layout and skip the second keyboard layout. When it wants to connect to the internet, press Shift and F10 at the same time once again. This time, type in OOB/bypass NRO. The device will reboot immediately. Click through the region and keyboard settings again. Now, the I don't have internet button at the bottom left side is available. Click on the Continue with limited setup button. I will use the username admin for this PC. To leave the password empty, just hit enter on the password prompt. Answer the privacy questions to your liking. It will set up Windows 11 now. Once the device has loaded into the desktop environment, shut it down. Open up the SSH connection to the EVE-NG machine again. You can safely delete the cd-rom.iso now. We'll save the current Windows 11 installation as a template, so you don't have to bother with the initial setup. To do that, we have to complete this command. First we need a node ID. You get that by editing the Windows 11 VM. The ID is displayed in the second field. In my case, it has a node ID of 1. Now the UUID of the lab. On the left side, there is a lab details button. There you'll see the lab ID. Just copy that into the command. To get the pod ID, close the lab. On the EVE-NG homepage, open the management window at the top side. Click on user management. The pod ID is on the right side. In my case, it is 0. Fill that into the command and copy the command. Open up the SSH session again and enter the command. Enter this QEMU image commit command. After it's done, it will say image committed. For that to work, you'll need to have at least the same free disk space available on EVE-NG as the Windows image is big. I'll create a second lab to see if it works. Click on add new lab, enter a name, save it and click on the plus button and search for Windows again. Set all the settings. As said before, the QEMU version must be set to 5.2.0. To get internet access, click on the plus button on the top right side again. This time choose a network, choose Management Cloud 0, click on the cable button and drag it onto the Windows node. Confirm the prompt. Right-click the Windows 11 node and select Start. Click on the node and open up the viewer. As you can see, it boots directly into the desktop environment without any configuration. It also identified a network. I just open command prompt to see if ping works. Sometimes it needs to be allowed in the Windows firewall rules. This time it works though. In case it doesn't work, just open up the Windows firewall settings. Click on the advanced settings. Choose inbound rules. Look for ICMP echo request IPv4. Activate both IPv4 rules using the enable rule button on the right side. Click on outbound rules. Look for ICMP echo request IPv4 again. Enable both rules. Now it should work definitely. That's it for this tutorial. Have a good day. Bye.